All right, I'm here in our cutting room in Asheboro, North Carolina, in our denim factory, and I'm gonna take you through every step of the process to make denim blue jeans in the United States of America, because we're really the only ones doing it soup to nuts, dirt to shirt, field to fabric in the United States. This is the cutting tables where we cut all of our product, fabric, and denim, and denim. Denim, what is denim? Well, I can tell you what denim is. And before I take you through the whole process, let me give you a little backstory. Blue jeans, denim, comes from Europe. Denim, it comes from a little town called Nîmes, N-I-M-E-S, in the south of France. Beautiful little town. And of course, because it was of Nîmes, it was a fabric of Nîmes, it was a fabric denim. When they wrote on the box or on the shipping container where the fabric was from, they wrote denims, okay? Now the same thing in Genoa, Italy, they were weaving a similar fabric, a little bit lighter, and it was the same twill weave, indigo, dyed, etc. And they would write on the shipping box with the fabric, Gene, G-E-N-E, which means it came from Genoa. And then translated over time, the way language works, it got to the United States. You can just imagine walking into a store, like a dry goods store, right? I mean, this is before there were factories. So there was all this hand sewing. You would go into the store and pick your fabric and you'd get like one pair of pants made out of it or one dress made out of it, right? And so you'd look at the fabric and like, okay, that fabric, what's that? Instead of saying like, that's a fabric of denim, or that's a fabric of Nîmes, France, right? Or that's a fabric of Genoa, Italy. It would just say jean, right? Or denim, right? And jeans, denim, denim. That's how language developed around these. Now, I went all around the world studying denim. Found some cool old stuff, old books in random parts of the world, which had original textiles. An old book in the Louvre that only like 5 people in history have ever seen, and I traced the history of this textile back, and we're making a documentary on that at some point. We'll get it done. But it's a wonderful fabric, and it is a working class fabric, and it always has been a working class fabric, okay? Always has been. It's never been anything kind of but the working man's fabric. Of course, it went viral. If you could go viral, there it is, denim, blue jean, call it what you want. It's jeans. It went viral, the fabric, and as viral as something can go back in the day because it was so durable. But it was being used all through Europe way before America ever fell in love with blue jeans. It did become popularized in the United States of America. At one point after the Depression, people were traveling to Europe a lot and they stopped traveling and they just started traveling inside America. In this blue jean that they were using in ranches and cowboys, it kind of became popular as like a garment. And then it became iconic. It became like the symbol of freedom in America. Well, World War II, soldiers went to liberate France. They stormed the beaches of Normandy, and in their backpacks, on their backs, they had blue jeans. We conquered Japan, and on their backs and their backpacks, they had blue jeans. And on the weekends, they would pull these blue jeans out, and this is what they would wear out and about, these blue jeans. And so both the Europeans and the Japanese were like, this is cool, America's cool. Why are they so cool? Because they wear blue jeans. And that's why denim became popular in Japan, and then repopularized in Europe, where it was once already popular. It was repopularized in Europe. And so there's your history lesson. Now our blue jeans, it all starts at Mount Vernon Mills. So let's look at that real quick. Comes from the cotton fields, gets spun into yarn, gets indigo dyed atmospherically, goes onto the looms, gets woven, shows up in our factory here in Asheboro. It goes onto the inspection table right there, and once it's inspected, it goes onto the cutting table. Now these garments, they get cut, and this is our Delta denim. Okay, so this is a stretch denim. It's a really, really wonderful performance textile. We also do 100%. This is a very cotton rich textile, very cotton rich, but it is stretched, so it's got a little bit of lycra in it. And then we have 100%. We have 100% cotton, which is more of a kind of heritage thing, right? So Origin, as a brand in America, we keep the most amount of denim that's woven here, okay? So how do I explain that? Blue jean, or denim, once it's woven, jean, most of it that's woven in America gets sent to, let's say, Mexico or other countries, okay? Not a lot of it stays here. For the denim that stays here, Origin's keeping the most here, right? So Mount Vernon Mills, they weave this denim for us, and they told us straight up, like, Origin keeps the most amount of American-made denim in America. It never crosses borders, I guess is what I'm saying. So, so after the cutting machine, it comes in here, and the pockets need to get set. So pocket setting is next, which means the back pockets need to go on the back panels. And that happens right here. I think it's gonna happen right here. Oh, right over here. So you can see pockets going on. Watch this. It's gonna drag this across. Boom. It gets stitched on. 2 rows of stitching, and then it gets caught. All right, and then the next one goes. So cool, so cool. A little bit of automation in the front end, and they're pulling from these bundles right here in front of me, all these bundles that came off of the cutting table, right? So that's like step number 1, which is not really step number 1. Step number 1 is growing the cotton, harvesting the cotton, ginning the cotton and cleaning the cotton, and then turning that cotton into yarn, and then applying a indigo blue dye. Indigo is a plant. It's like a, it's actually like green, and then as it oxidizes, oxidation happens, it turns blue, and then the reason that there's white speck in real like blue jeans is because there's yarns that go like this, and they're called warp yarns, okay, and they're real taut. And then there's yarns that go this way, and they're called weft yarns. And those weft yarns are natural colored, so they're undyed yarns. And these yarns, these warp yarns, they're dyed yarns. And so it gets woven in what we call a twill pattern. Those little diagonal lines, that's a twill pattern. And that natural yarn creates a white speck, and that is the signature trademark for denim, for blue jeans. So after that, it goes into the line. So I'll show you each step if I can get to the beginning of the line. Again, this factory, Origin, this is our factory. I'm not in somebody else's factory. I'm in our own factory. All of our factories we own. So we have a footwear plant in Maine, we have a jiu-jitsu plant in Maine, then we have a denim, wovens, and knitwear plant in Asheboro, North Carolina, which is where I am right now. We purchased this factory, we reinvigorated, we dumped tens of millions of dollars of your money into it. As you've invested in us, we've invested back in this. So let's see here, where do I want to start? All right, here we go, we'll just go over here. I probably skipped a couple of steps, but that's okay. Hey, morning. These are pockets. You're good, you're good. These are pockets, pocket bags getting sewn. You can see this is the little key pocket thing, and she's just flipping them, and this is called a serger machine, and she's serging them closed. These little things here, these are the fly, okay? And she's attaching zippers to the fly. And then at this stage, you can see we have the pocket bags, and these are the back panels. And she's attaching those pocket bags, to the front panels. And then I think she's also sewing the crotch together. We're gonna see here. I used to know how to do all this myself, but I haven't made a pair of jeans myself in a long time. Okay, so there we go. So she's just putting the pocket bag on. Listen, we make about over 10,000 pairs of jeans every month. Our next step is 1 million pairs of jeans a year. That would be ideal, right? 1 million pairs of jeans a year feels pretty good. That would be how many pairs a month? I don't even know, I can't do the math, but a lot. But all we have to do to scale, because we have plenty of room to scale here in our facility, 170,000 square feet. All we got to do to scale is replicate the process and train people. And we have a whole training cell over here. Actually, everybody on that side of the room is newly trained because we're in hiring mode right now. Never stitched before in their lives. So, all right, here we go. We'll jump back on this. She's putting the stitch where your hand goes. So that's the pocket. And so she is stitching down that front pocket. Just like that. So that your hand, when it's in the front pocket, is comfortable and it's durable. All right. What do I want to show you next? You know what? This operator over here is working on black jeans, but gosh, she's so talented. So I'm going to show you what she does with these black jeans. She does what's called a felled seam, where fabric wraps around itself and 3 rows of stitching goes through it, and she's so good at it. So watch this. She puts it in that little folder, and this whole stitch, this is a triple needle, okay? And crazy, right? And she's gonna trim the crotch and bring the panels together right over the seam so they line up. See how perfectly those line up? So cool. Listen, this process for blue jeans took us a long time to figure out. We developed all of our processes from scratch. Of course, as we got into it, we hired pattern makers from like Wrangler who had worked in the denim programs, and they helped re-engineer the patterns and fix any mistakes for production. There's a difference between making one pair of jeans. Okay, one pair of jeans, easy. Like, think about making a pair of jeans, not easy, but way easier than a production environment. If you think about a home sewer, like a kitten, right? Little home machine. I'm gonna do it nice and slow and make them one at a time. And when you look at our factory environment, you got to think about like a bunch of lions, right? They need to move fast. They're hitting they got to hit a certain number a day. We've got to keep the production flowing. It's got to be timed. And what that means is that the patterns need to be designed for the environment they're being sewn in. Let me say that again. The patterns need to be designed for the environment they're being sewn in. And so that's what we have here. And all right, let's see. So she is attaching the crotch, it looks like. And this is a really hard seam here she's doing, because she's coming down. She has to fold and hold with her hands, that crotch seam. That's probably one of the hardest stitches in the factory to get it really nice. Let me see if I can show you this. Because she has to hold this, and she has to make a felled seam and she has to catch all of the fabric, all right? So there's 2 people doing this. What we'll do is is, this sounds crazy, 18 people will pump out 10,500 a month, something like that, with 18 people. That took some serious engineering, and we have engineers here in the factory that engineer this shit. I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, this is called casting a long-term strategic vision and then living into it. Not just putting it out there, but living into it and taking the risk on it. And it's crazy. Here we go. Now the side seams. Those are the side seams, and then they get serged and top stitched. And then I want to show you one more thing, because this is pretty cool. And I'll get back to like the vision thing. This right here. She's running waistbanding. Let me see here. We'll have to go over here. We have black jeans and blue jeans running down the line. So I'll show you this here. So she's putting the waistband on the jeans, and you can see all of this fabric. It runs through this folder, and now she's going to trim, and she's going to hand fold that waistband like this, and she's going to finish running it through. A lot of handwork. Like, you've got to have really good dexterity to sew. It's important. And also hand-eye coordination is very important also. Our operators are trained so they can jump around anywhere in the factory, which is wonderful. But having dexterity is important. So I'm gonna walk over to the wash house. Next is the wash house. As far as I know, this is the last denim wash house in America. There might be something in California. I don't know. I've never been into the bowels of LA and looked for manufacturing. But as far as east of the Mississippi, there isn't another commercial blue jeans denim wash house in America. And then there's things I want to do to the wash house. I want to install a reverse osmosis system at some point. But the town has been wonderful. This town is built for manufacturing, and this town is built for textiles. And so the town brought new infrastructure into the road for us. And then we built infrastructure out to the road, and we resurrected this wash house. We put way too much money into it, but all new TIG welded pipes, stainless steel on the ceiling, and high pressure steam. It's just really wonderful. And here it is, the wash house. All these jeans are coming out of wash. Okay. And she's just inspecting and going through them. They'll get inspected again. So see these boards right here? This whole thing, this is freaking crazy, okay? All right, so think about fabric as it comes in. Let's just call them dye lots. You know, cotton is, how do I explain it? It's a natural fiber, and it's spun and woven, and then we receive it, and you're not going to get everything perfect every single time. It's not a substrate that is rigid, is what I'm trying to say. And because of that, and because it's natural, it can come in different ways. A little bit wider, a little bit narrower, a little bit more stretch, a little bit less stretch. And so what we have to do is every batch of fabric that comes in, we cut a square. And we take all these squares and we wash them. Could be hundreds of these squares, like 3 feet by 3 feet. We wash them, we pull the squares out, and they're going to shrink, and some are going to shrink different percentages, and then they're going to skew, and some are going to skew different percentages. And this was a big issue early on making jeans, and we used to get leg twist. We didn't know any of this, right? So we had to learn it all on the fly. If I'm explaining this right, after they come out of the wash, we measure to see how much they shrunk on the warp and on the weft. If they skewed, then we adjust the patterns on the fly back for the cutting room. So the cutting room will then place the patterns, and it could be 1% or 2% or 3% different, or 1 degree or 2 degree or -3 degree when they place the pattern. And it has to be based off of the wash sample of that 3x3 square, and the quality and process has to be followed every freaking time. If you don't follow the process, you could lose a whole batch of seconds. And trust me, we've lost thousands and thousands of pairs of jeans before we figured this shit out, because there was nobody to teach us. We had to find the old timers, we had to bring them in. I mean, not just learning how to do this whole, cut and sew thing, but the way the fabric works, and how the panel should come together, and designing for manufacturing so that it's easy for the operator to sew, zip, 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 so they can devour like a lion the blue jeans in the line, because we're a single piece flow. We manufacture in a single piece way, and so that's important. And then on top of that is all the chemistry, right? So there's chemistry at the weaver, and then there's chemistry here in our dye house, because we're going to wash the jeans. Everything is pre-shrunk, so when you pull them out of the box, they're never going to fit any different. They're not going to shrink anymore, and that's important for us because we sell direct to consumer, that we don't want the product to shrink, because then we would get a lot of returns and exchanges. So out of the box fit, we call it. Universal fits. All of our pants fit universally the same. But the chemistry, we have a chemist who helped us develop the washes. We do a rinse on one jean, a dark rinse. Then we do a medium wash, which is what they have behind me back here. And then we do a light wash. The crazy thing is the light wash is a whole different batch of denim, where we apply different chemistry at the weaver, Mount Vernon, and so now you have different batches with different chemistry that need to be tracked as they go into the wash house. Then in the wash house, there's chemistry to get the product we want. So it's crazy. Like, I mean, listen, I was a C student in school. C student, like, didn't fit into the box. But like you, if you're watching this channel, most likely you're trying to find upward trajectory in life. You may have ambitions and dreams and ideas, and maybe you've already found your purpose, your power of purpose. This isn't intelligence. I'm not a smart person. I freaking did shitty on my SATs. I'd never picked up a book in high school. I only started reading recently. I'm really trying to learn how to read. I'm teaching myself how to read. I'm forcing myself to read, because most of my knowledge has been through oral history, has been through older people telling me how things were done and helping me. And I'm a hands-on learner, right? I was like the kid in OM, Odyssey of the Mind. Like, if you're an Xer, you get what I'm saying, right? Like, the kid they sent out of the classroom for special art, which was really just get this kid out of the classroom because he's disruptive. So my learning style isn't like normal people, and that's okay, because I've had to find a way to leverage that to succeed in life, because I didn't plug in. And if you don't plug in, and maybe you have ADHD or you're neurodivergent, whatever, like, you have to realize what your gifts truly are, because you have gifts, right? And my gift is, like, I don't believe the propaganda that things have to be done a certain way, or that you can't do something, or you can't be someone, or this isn't possible, or it's crazy. And so I say, fuck you. Like, Let's go. Let's try it. Let's lose it all. Yeah, right. My wife doesn't like that too much. Let's bet the house. That's my style. I'm not saying it should be your style, but that's my style. And all of this manufacturing, brand work, and the ability to build like 2 brands at the same time, again, didn't come from intelligence. It actually came from naivete. Okay, it came from, I don't want to say I would say just being naive, and then spending every minute of every day for years, decades, saying no. It's a go-go scenario. No is no is yes, right? No is yes. So anyways, once everything is washed, it goes through inspection, and here we go. Inspection is here, right? There you can see I'm inspecting all the blue jeans here. And then it goes from inspection over to fulfillment. Over there's all the fulfillment. And then you place an order on our website, and it shows up at your door, and you get to then put on the fabric of freedom. This is freedom fabric. This is true blue jean manufacturing in America, in a way nobody's done in freaking close to 100 years, right? So we're bringing it back, and we appreciate your support on that. And for those of you who are building something, you should be wearing Origin blue jeans while you're building. If not, you're lying to yourself. It's like putting on a superhero cape. I call it the uniform of freedom, the uniform of America, denim blue jeans. Anyways, there's my tour, and I hope you appreciated that. Listen, post questions, any questions, anything you want, post below. I'll answer them the best of my ability, and we'll see you on the next one.